Get wrecked, scrub.
Smell of the game. Do you know who you are when you speak your words? Don't sound like your own. You're something that toxic created by this world. That is who you are. No standard will say life must begin sometime doing now. Providing keeps us on the ground. That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If I lose my wings, I don't need a new world under you. Can't feel a thing. We already know the smell of the game. Remember, you are blazing. Still your heart is blazing. If the world made you, I don't need a new world under you. Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game. What am I? What am I? What am I?
Mankind knew that they cannot change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. But they found beauty in the lives of beasts and couldn't lie to themselves about it.
I'm just a small part of the world, but no one can break me. Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new world after you. My time is my word. Your words will never make me disobey. I'm bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new world after you. Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the game.
Welcome to the first Blazing 236 Guilty Gear Strive Tournament. I'm your host, Sword of Destiny. Christopher Sword of Destiny Johnson. And we have casting with us, we have the illustrious GLP all the way out from Oceania, and Shinkari all the way out from San Francisco-ish area.
Yeah, no, you were right. And then you added the ish area, and then it was incorrect.
Well, we should have quite the lineup lined up today. Wow, that's words. Alrighty, so we're gonna get right into these matches. The first match today is Devin versus Ia. And we'll get that match going in just a moment.
We're just waiting for Devin to show up, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
They're hopping on now. They're probably just booting up the game, and it's gonna take like an hour to get through all of the connecting
Yes.
to the server,
I love
communicating
playing
with the server.
Yep. I love playing Guilty Gear communicating with server.
Yeah. I think you guys talked about it before, where it was just, oh, you know, this game's great. It wasn't for the weird connection issues in a game that has really good netcode, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like by and large, the game is just pristine. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just connecting to the servers, and the lobby system can be a little bit jank.
Mm-hmm.
Which we are going to find. We're going to test its limits.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because I am not sure how it's going to react to multiple people trying to spectate it at once. We'll see if that works out. Hopefully it does. We'll find out.
Yep. Because my
Yeah,
connection
a lot
would
of
really
it-
like it if I didn't have to stream and do it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, just to give your network a bit of a breather.
Yeah. I mean, I'm real excited. This is my first real foray into fighting game casting. Typically, I'm casting like Hearthstone or League of Legends or even Magic the Gathering. So this is real exciting. I'm excited to go. We have a lot of sweet matchups lined up. I think we already talked about it very briefly, but I believe our consensus was a lot of these matches are going to be very short.
Yeah, just the game pace is quite frenetic, and the most thoughtful of matches, you're probably like of the characters that we might be seeing today is probably going to be the Faust because of the style that they want to play. It's very kind of keep away. That's not to say that Faust can't play a fast and loose kind of game and will get in your face and really make you pay for it. But just compared to the list that we might be seeing today, that is probably the slower side of things that we might see, because a lot of the characters, they're rushdown characters. They want to get in your face. They want to do their really fun combos and output a lot of damage. And damage gets applied pretty damn quickly in this game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it really does look like it is going to be just a lot of hold fast aggro, and in Magic the
looks
Gathering,
like
we
we're-
like to add. Oh,
See. How do I? There we go. Spectate. Okay, we do have to wait for the next match to start. So,
Are they in the room?
they're in the room. They're in the top left
I will
corner.
rejoin the room because I'm just like,
let's go! Let's go!
I was like, oh, things are happening and I'm being left out of all of it.
Get wrecked, scrub.
Thank you for the follow, Shikari.
Give me 1 second.
I'm not going to stream the first practice thing.
Where are they?
Top left.
Ah, yeah. So we just have to wait for them to...
Yeah, you should be able to get in the middle and click join.
Spectate from the next match.
Spectate.
Okay. So it should.
okay, I
Alright,
hope this
so
works.
yeah, we're in deal 2 for them. So I'll switch it over into that scene once.
If all else fails, we can watch the little avatars just fighting away.
Yeah.
And just like spectate the health bars as they go down.
Hey, look, someone got ahead.
Well,
yeah.
right off the bat, I can tell that one person is using an axe and another person is using a sword. And from what I understand from Fire Emblem is that swords beat axes. So clearly one person has an advantage over the other in this case.
Sure, let's go with that.
We'll
Yeah,
go with that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, folks might be like, oh well, actually they're using a guitar. Oh well, actually
Yeah, a guitar
people
is an
refer
axe.
to as a guitar as an axe. So don't even tell me that I'm
What did you
incorrect.
say? Oh.
Yeah. I saw what you were going with the
Yeah.
axe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn the music down just a hair lower because I think it's a little loud.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah, Leo versus May.
yeah.
It
should
is going to be. We're going to see some dolphins, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're
also
definitely going to see some
Devin
aquatic
just.
creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, we're also going to just see Devin just throw his head, just go head first into that, because
Yeah.
that's what Leo does.
All
He
right.
just throws
Looks
the
like
head out
we're.
there and just gets right into it. And if Devin's allowed to play his game and just do a lot of the Leo mix-ups, it can be very hard to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, when it comes to two rushdown characters, it's really going to come down to who can mix up the other person
And
a
here
lot
we go.
more. Because, like, you know, as we get into this match here. All right, we're finally loading in. Perhaps.
Not loading me in.
All right.
Oh no, it's not synced.
I'm gonna be taking a look at taking a look at the stream right there, and already right
Yeah.
off the bat, May is the first person to throw out the punch here, and usually that means who wins, but we'll have to see because Devin is doing such a great job of maintaining a lot of pressure here on Leo.
Yeah, able to get into that stance thanks to that Berserk Blade. Just go straight past him. Ooh, trying to go for the low hits. Does manage to dodge out from the grab, but yeah, it's just trading some blows back and forth. May able to get Leo into the corner, and does force out the burst. Really nicely done.
Yeah,
just a
it is
technical
going to be
note.
really tough here. He's taken incredibly low here. He's going to look for the last bit. Okay, he's looking for this last bit of damage here.
Oh,
Ooh, that's real great there. That's the last bit of damage he needs.
Okay, so we're a bit off sync with the streaming, so I'm gonna have to stream it myself. It's off.
Please, dude. Because we can't
Switch
see
over to
it.
mine. Yeah, switch over to mine.
And here we go.
All right, now we're alive. So, all right.
Yeah. All
And we
right.
have-
Excuse our construction as we still trying to move all this stuff out, but already, I mean, this is probably a really good matchup for Devin. I mean, Devin has been practicing a whole lot against May. There's a lot of folks that play May against Devin a lot, so this should be a pretty good time for
Bit
him.
of a raw
Oh,
super, but does actually get the straight hits out of it, so nicely done there. Just a bit of unfortunate dropping of the block there from Ia, but this is going to stop them. Not going to stop them because they are so close to taking this round. Just needs one more straight hit or two, but Devin is playing some nice keep away using their range that they have at their disposal. But the good jump in burst is going to be forced out. It's so close. It's even chip damage should do it from this point. Oh, managed to slide straight past him. Burst has get thrown out. Devin does end up jumping right over. Oh, great jump in there, and that's going to even
yeah.
up.
Yeah, here we go. It's 1-1 now, so it's up to this. With a best of, I believe this is a best of 3, so we'll have to see how this one.
5, I think it was mentioned because of the speed of these games. We'll just players are going to be in it. Great counter hit.
Yeah.
And that's going to allow them to put so much pressure. Just that backwards facing stance from Leo. You can do so much from that. It does have its limitations. Defensively, it is somewhat limited, but offensively, it allows him to do so much damage. Ooh, good jump out of that command grab.
Yeah, and it's looking real good for the Leo here. Oh man, this raw super might actually get it. There
it
we
is.
go.
That's
Slash. Game 1 goes over to Devin on the Leo.
Only two things in this world are in.
My game is just in the background, just doing its thing, just like still.
Yeah.
Just, that lobby is.
All right, then right off the bat, Leo's already putting a huge amount of pressure on the May here. So much damage right off the bat here. But this is kind of what we predicted, right? This is just kind of 2 rushdown characters, and if someone is able to gain control of the match early on, it's probably like a very good indicator of who's going to be winning.
One good thing about this game, at least, is that there are ways to come back. It can be somewhat difficult, especially against characters like May and Leo, who sticks out the chest. There's a great anti-air there. Leo just has like great animations. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
seeing actually starting to get some damage to stick, and it's really even this one up. Leo does have the burst. Oh, good block there. And it's
Yeah.
coming down to just one more big hit. Does stuff out Totsugeki.
Yeah,
There it is. Killer Roman cancel.
Yeah, okay, it was just a little bit of HP left from Leo here.
Oh, good jump in again.
Oh, his
How
shoes
they
were
managed to get-
untied.
Yeah, that was how they were able to get that round win in the previous game. So good, good wherewithal to realize when Devin is trying to go for those projectiles and able to get some good entry hits. As they're just trading blows back and forth, and it is a bit of a sluggish match right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, really good so far. I mean, that's really what Devin has to be doing, using these projectiles in order to create openings for himself, because the range that Mei has with that anchor is really big. Just being able to take some wide swaths with the swings, and now we're back down to another instance of just both of these folks just being oh.
That's one of the things that Leo does have at his disposal. When he has that backwards facing stance, he can just throw out a big old counter. Like, if you attack into it, you are going to get punished dearly, and we saw that there at the end of that round. It's evened up yet again, 1-1. Oh, good command grab.
Oh,
It's,
yeah,
it's
real.
very
That's
deceptive
so
at how that one
damage.
comes out. Yeah. He's backing him into the corner.
Yeah, I mean, throws are really going to be the name of the game, especially against like these kind of rush down like characters where they're constantly on the offense. Blocks are really going to be important to maintaining some tempo and maybe throwing folks off with that. It's going to be really important.
Doesn't need one more hit. There it is, and Devin goes up 2-0 in the series. But that's not to say Ia hasn't been making him work for it. It's been a really closely contested fight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ia's been playing still pretty well here. Like even in that, even in the round where I said like, oh yeah, like Leo's taken a whole lot has taken so much early on, but still is just doing so well, and then was able to turn around in a single round. So we'll have to see how this continues to go, but they're obviously doing a real good job so far.
Yeah, it's been close. Every round has kind of gone down to those last hit instances. It's just... Yeah, I mean, Leo can definitely just barrel through with a lot of those mix-ups, and Devin has been working on those an awful lot. And a lot of the damage conversions from just straight hits and just applying pressure consistently, even forcing out the burst right there. Not able to get too much more beyond that, but now we're back to a more neutral state as Ia is starting to get some damage ramped up. Doesn't manage to get over that projectile, takes a chunk of damage out of that, and Devin is able to reapply a lot of this pressure. As Ia is able to get out thanks to that defensive stance. But it is going to be a very dangerous situation as Cancel does come out just to try and make that approach a little bit more safer, as a 2H does come through from Leo, as Faultless Guard has to be used to prevent a lot of this potential chip damage, because you never know when that Leo is just going to throw out some of those specials, but just a good old flying kick to the dome is going to be what just ends that round.
If there's anything I've learned in fighting games like this, is that jumping kick is always good. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat 10 and Mortal Kombat 11. Jumping kick is always great.
Jumping kick, it gets the job done, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Leo with those just basic slashes, they just come to each other so nicely and apply so much pressure. You have to be very careful that you're not going to be hitting buttons, because they will rack up some damages. On the return swing, Ia is starting to get some damage to land as well, as Mei is... They're both down to very low health bars. Ooh, an empty burst is going to get punished, but not too much in the grand scheme of things. Devin actually a little bit, and now it is down to last hit situation between these two. Oh, the super gets stuffed by the sweep. Nicely done there from Ia. Have to cancel to try and catch that dash out.
It's down to the wire again!
Oh, the little poke of the ground is going to take it for Ia. Again, we're going to round 3 each and every time. It's so highly contested between these two.
Yeah, it's real nuts. Like how many rounds have come down to the absolute wire between these two. It's a real close matchup. I mean, I still kind of give the edge to Devin just because of how he's been playing and how many times he's had to play this Mei matchup. Probably we do have a person who just plays nothing but Mei and just plays fighting games day in, day out. So Devin might have an edge, but he's still,
the ringer,
you know,
yeah, with this
yeah, for sure.
And honestly, like Leo matchup is like very different from a lot of characters because of the great RC. Doesn't manage to get much more out of that. Is here comes the super, and it is going to end up taking the kill. So the Orc is going to take it. So Ia is going to get one win onto the board. It is 2-1. So it is. This has just been back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's been such fun to watch. Such a good matchup. But yeah, as I was saying, like Leo matchup, you have to know what you're doing against that because they will mix you up. And if you're not careful, they will absolutely just be relentless with the amount of damage they're going to output. But they are not perturbed by any of that, is going to just keep on applying pressure of their own because they can definitely do that. And just so much damage.
Oh my
if you're not
god.
too careful. These counter hits are really starting to rack up.
Oh my god, yeah. May is just running the show in this round. It's just it's crazy. Oh my god. It's just Devin can't get a foothold. Okay, he's starting to turn the round back now, but that's the last bit of damage that Ian needed in order to do it, and that's gonna get them the round. And this is really starting to even out. We might have a Cloud9 situation.
Yeah, it seems like Ia is definitely feeling out this matchup more and more as this series has gone on, and starting to see some of those adaptations really coming into effect right now. I was talking about the slash into slash from Leo, and if you just cop all of that, just the amount of damage that's being output, YRC being used just to try and just wrest back some control as a nice little kick there is going to bring Devin back into his good stance and just slams him down, and this is going to be match point here for Devin on the Leo. We'll see how this one's going to play out as we just went straight through that. That little kick is going to
counter hits in a row.
Yeah. Oh, an empty burst. That is really good, but because they were far enough away, Devin wasn't able to punish it too much. The damage is going back and forth. It's really starting to get into the nitty gritty. Yeah, see, is going to be used to try and again just break up some of the combos that Devin might be trying to throw at them. But there it is, just the slash combo. 1, 2, and big hit there, and that is going to finish it. It is going to be a 3-1 going over to Devin. But yeah, we saw as that series went on, Ia was starting to feel out the matchup, was starting to find kind of some of the holes in Devin's defenses, and was really starting to open him up. But Devin able to readjust and come in at a slightly different angle and take the win eventually.
For sure. I mean, the biggest thing here is that Ia has kind of let us know that they were they're just kind of getting into fighting games. They're still kind of a beginner, kind of learning. And I think what's really good, a big learning experience from this, is that they're doing a very, very good job of kind of getting used to how their opponents are playing and starting to make adjustments based off of that. And that's the biggest thing about fighting games, for sure.
And that's also one of the things why I kind of prefer best of 5 in Strive, because we're seeing how quick a lot of these matchups are going. In a best of 3, it is very hard to make those adaptations, whereas we saw once we got to game 3 and beyond, we started to see those adaptations, and it was really working out. And yeah, it's best of 5 feels a little bit better, but
yeah, for sure.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah. The next matchup is going to be it's going to be Night Kiwi versus Lonely to Block.
Yeah. Yep.
What is going to be the matchup? Kiwi playing Faust, fighting an old lad, and Tick playing Giovanna, who is another one of those very mix-up heavy rushdown styles. Who, if you have holes in your defense, Giovanna is the kind of character that will see those, expose those, and really make you pay for it. Whereas Faust, you need to know what the hell is going on with that character, because there's some funky things going on. There's some very particular things going on that's Faust is an anomaly. I'll say that. Yeah,
for sure. I did really quickly want to mention that we did throw out like a little bit of a survey to a lot of the players to try to get to know them a little bit better, get to know what their players are, One of the questions that we threw out to them was, how experienced are you with Guilty Gear? And Tick's answer was yes. Which I can only expect the greatest things from someone who is asked a question that is neither yes nor no as the answer, and their response is yes.
Yes, it brings a good energy.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is an energy. Whether it is a winning energy as is yet to be seen. But we'll have to see. What is your opinion on this particular matchup?
The weird thing is like Rodrigo used to be playing a lot of Giovanna, but has since switched over to Potemkin, and since then we haven't seen a lot of Giovanna in the Discord, so a lot of my Giovanna knowledge is playing against it with Axel. It does play a rather similar style of keep away, so if Faust is able to kind of stuff a lot of Giovanna's advances, the Faust is usually having a good time. But Giovanna, honestly, in like most of her matchups, if she's allowed to play her game and get her mix-up started, her cross-up started, and just really start opening up defenses, she can be incredibly hard to stop.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it really is going to be down to it's really going to be down to how the Faust plays, because a lot of these rushdown kind of needs to be in the thick of it all the time kind of characters can just be just zoned out and just kept out of their fight by these kind of ranged characters. Faust does have a lot of tools in his disposal, and you know,
he also
tools
does have a reasonable amount of range as well. He has a big scalpel, but also that can be a little bit of a liability at times, because some counter hits can come through. Like when they're sticking out the scalpel, that can get counter hit by some moves. So be a little bit careful poking and prodding, and also some of his moves can be a little bit laggy. So Giovanna kind of has to pick and choose when they try and make their approaches, and what options and how they want to do it, whether it wants to be through jumping or from dashing through or using some of her specials that can really close the gap, but has to kind of pick and choose their timings to make their way in, because otherwise they're just going to kind of just, as you mentioned, just get kept away throughout the entire game. And it can be a bit of a rough one if you're just standing there trying to make your way in, you just get stuffed at every opportunity. It doesn't feel good for the mental when you're trying to do all these certain things. You want to play your game, but you just force out at every opportunity. So it's going to be a little bit of a patience game, but if they're able to get in, we can expect to see Giovanna really start to go off.
Yeah, I mean, speaking from someone who plays like characters in Smash Brothers that have these kind of like longer ranges, like Samus and Dragon Ball Fighters when we playing Frieza, like the second that a rushdown character is able to get into someone who's trying to play the ranged game, it's just awful, and you have to use almost every defensive tool you have in order to gain that range advantage again.
Yep, the game has indeed started, and we're seeing already Kiwi actually applying some good pressure with the Faust. Oh, goes for the grab on Wake Up, but doesn't manage to land it. The big heavy slash is going to do some good damage as well. Just trying to keep them at range, and we see to try and make their way in, but as we were mentioning, just kind of getting stuffed out at every opportunity. Nice grab there from Kiwi, and really needing just a little bit more to take this round, but now we're starting to see Kiwi get into, or I see Tick start to get into their own, start to open up some offense, but getting some good damage, and he's really eating those up, but the throw is going to take the round just like that.
God, Faust is so creepy. I've seen Faust before this game, but he's just way too much. He's just an energy I just don't want like in my life ever.
Good start to the round here from Tick, actually starting to get some damage to really land and open up some of these defenses, as does manage to back away from that grab. There's a big old sriracha bottle, or sriracha syringe out of Faust, able to keep them away and evening up the damage scores. It's Little Faust is going to get dropped to the field. And is it going to connect?
Oh. Was that a taunt? Right, is he BMing? What was up with that?
Oh, does get the RC, but is not able to get the block up in time, as that is going to be game 1 going over to the Faust player. But that's not to say that it was not without struggle, because there were those moments where Tick was able to start racking up some damage, get those Giovanna combos started, and getting Faust into the corner, which can make him quite uncomfortable, force him to jump a lot, trying to use some of those items and some of the aerials to try and create some space. We'll see how that goes in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, Kiwi is wasting no time, already putting up so much damage. It makes you wonder who actually is the rushdown character in this matchup, because Faust is so healthy and Giovanna is forced to play real defensive right here.
Yeah, the lights are coming through, but does end up blocking it, so nicely done there. Able to get some damage, but because of how much knockback there was there, now they're back to kind of square one, where they have to try and make an entrance again, but a big heavy slash is going to finish off that round, as Tick trying to make their way, and does manage to get the super jump right over the top of that big heavy slash, and Dust coming out is going to do some damage, but that's not without a response. There's a big overhead come through. Bird's being used quite aggressively here from Tick, and this is what we're trying to kind of mention before, is if the Giovanna is able to play the game, you got a lot of damage. You're getting some of those wall break combos, and that's going to even up the round score. Good. 6P is going to stuff up that opening 2 times in a row at this stage.
Yeah, once again, Faust really forced to play on the defensive here. Had an edge in that first kind of round there, but Giovanna was able to turn that around pretty quickly in round 2. Now it's kind of up to them again here to just kind of gather the what they need. It's a good counter. Maybe that's a good start.
Yeah, and being able to punch the
damage
burst for a little bit. Yeah, just Scarecrow gets punished again. A good conversion. Yeah, great conversion off that, yeah. Just understood exactly where the Faust was coming in from. Managed to get the counter hit and then converting that into the final damage. So that is going to be 1-1 so far. So really nice adaptation here.
Yeah, and it's really good job from Tick for sure. Like, really getting good at these ranges. Oh my god, these 2Hs are insane. Oh my god. Oh my god, and the wall break.
Hell yeah. This is what we like to see. Giovanna, when she's allowed to play the very free-flowing, aggressive style, it is so fun to watch. It's such a very kinetic, very energetic style, and we're just seeing those. As I was saying, it's like if she will expose holes in your defense, and that's what we're seeing right now. Is Kiwi is going to have to try and adapt to this energy that Tick is now bringing to the front.
Yeah, Tick was like, okay, you can have one match. I'll give you one game, and then after that it's mine. Okay, you can have the one. All right, you know. Now, Tick has really gotten the hang of how Kiwi plays this Faust here. So he's really running wild, and this might actually be the round.
There it is. Able to really just get those mix-ups going, and once the Giovanna starts rolling, it is very hard to stop, and that was a very quick game overall. And now it's up to 2-1 over. It looked honestly quite dominant for Kiwi early on in that first game. It is now 2-1 in favor of Tick, and is looking to just continue with this aggressive onslaught right now. Is Kiwi able to get some of those items out? Oh, good punishment on that heavy slash there. Diving straight on in there, but an empty burst is going to get punished too much.
Yeah.
It is going to end up going off, and it was able to get the defense up in time. Is starting to see Kiwi get some of the defense back, but with now starting to see Tick really just reassert their dominance.
Yeah, it's really coming down to the wire here, but that's Giovanna taking another round.
Now it is match point, and again opening up with that 6P is just going to stop any opening options that Kiwi has been throwing out in these rounds.
Yeah, it's at just the right range. The frame data is so good, it comes out so fast that, like, even though Kiwi's trying to open up with that low kind of hit with the
that's
scalp
gonna do it, and it finishes it off with a
perfect. Oh man. There's no other way to end it, right? Like, that is just so perfect.
That was brilliant.
Jesus.
Here we started strong, but once Tech was able to figure out how that matchup was going to be played, some of the ranges, some of the choices in like some of the option choices that Faust was going for, able to weave in and amongst all of those various weird hitboxes that Faust likes to throw out. Once the offense was started, it was incredibly tough to stop.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all you need, like in games like this, to just take a match. Like, don't put out, just use 10% of your power. Don't even go to your final form yet. Just let your opponent just kind of give you reads about what they're doing, and if they show their whole hand, then you can go into games 2, 3, 4, whatever, knowing exactly how to play against your opponent. And a lot of the times, like, Faust was opening up with these kind of low scalpel hits that take a real long time to wind up and hit, and which you kept saying the 6P, that attack comes out so quick and is just enough range in order to throw off whatever Faust is throwing on early out.
Yeah, and now coming into our next game, it is going to be Draco versus Brandon. This is going to be a fun matchup.
Oh yeah, for
With
sure.
both of these two doing a whole bunch of labbing of various things, various combo setups with their characters, and they've been putting in a lot of work. And the Kai versus Chip matchup is going to be, there's going to be a lot of action going on, because even though Kai can play a bit more of a defensive style, that's not to say that Kai can't just go balls to the wall aggression and just stick damage like very, very quickly. And especially against Chip, who is the squishiest character in the game. But
yeah, for sure.
Damage is going to get racked up incredibly quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing here is that Draco is playing a whole lot of characters. Been apparently been labbing some of the Shotos here and Axel as well. And so it'll be interesting to see how or what Draco chooses to bring out in this game, because having at least a couple characters as opposed to just the one means that you do get to just kind of mix up your opponent just a little bit and just be like, ooh, what am I going to pull out of my pocket? Is it going to be a Kai? Is it going to be a Soul? Is it going to be an Axel? What's it going to be? What do you know?
That is one of the fun things about having multiple characters at your disposal. Brendan, on the other hand, does just have his Chip, which has been making leaps and bounds, has been trying to get up, because Chip is not an easy character. It's a glass cannon that requires a lot of finesse. A lot of the combos and a lot of the damage output from Chip is kind of reliant on a lot of this precision.
Looks like we are now in the game, and it looks like Caldereth is going to start off with the Kai here. So we'll have to see how this works out. Oh man, already
and
right
this
off
is going
the
to be
bat.
one of the things in this matchup that is going to be very important is the ranges of engagement, because Kai does have that bit of a longer reach with that sword, but if Brandon is going to be able to get into the range and start opening up with some damage and get some of those combos going, we can start to see a lot of those good mix-ups happening. We saw the records coming out, which is like a mid, low, and then an overhead if they're able to go through with all of it. But Zato is going to be able to take game one, but it is a best of 5, and as we've been seeing so far from the series that we've seen already, game one isn't everything. You can, as you mentioned, use it to. Yeah, it is going to be an interesting kind of feeling out for the first, or for the first round here, or for the first game. But we're seeing a lot of damage being put down. Brennan's just being stopped at every opportunity to try and make their way, and a big flip kick is going to just hit them. Swat them out of the air, and game one is going to go up to Draco.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is that Draco Zatareth here is having is doing such a good job of knowing his ranges and not really letting Brendan Gongaga get real close. And every kind of entryway that Brendan is looking for in order to get in, Zadareth just has such a good counter for it. Right? You see, he tried to go in for this lower dash here, and he jumps immediately over it. He tries to walk at him from the side. He's got a real long sword to block that. But
the run up DP there is.
Man, but this is going to be real tough so far. Yeah.
Some damage there. Oh, a DP, but doesn't actually get punished this time. And the big overhead finisher is going to manage to take that round for them.
Yeah, for sure. And this is real good for them so far. I think Brendan has at least started to kind of get his footing here against Zadareth here, but once again, still doing a real good job of messing with these entryways that Brendan has been looking for in order to get in real close.
Oh, the whip grab is going to get a little bit punished, but does end up dropping combo. Not able to get much more than that. Tries to get an overhead in there, but not able to really land it. Oh, the super is going to land. Caught them pressing the button. It's going to be a lot of damage and really even up this round. But it is going to be... Oh, they're just going to throw out another one. It does manage to take this game. Sometimes raw super just lands, all right?
Yeah, sometimes you just throw it out. I mean... Zadareth has said that they are here to push buttons and get punished. So if that's what they're here for, that's what's
exactly
going on. That's exactly what's happening.
Oh, coming into this game 3 already, racking up a lot of damage there. Brandon's just getting stuffed. Again, trying to make their way in with that slash. Is going to be able to land it, but does end up whipping the grab and is going to get punished dearly for it. He's going to force out the burst. Oh, it does end up throwing out the super yet again.
I mean, sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, if he's going to be able to land these supers over and over again and get that good damage when he's behind, should just go for it.
Yeah, it has been working out for him, so we'll see how Dragon kind of responds to that one. But so far, it has been working pretty good. 3-hit combo is going to get them right into the corner. We'll see if Brendan's going to be able to capitalize on this some more. Does do it again. Doesn't end up landing the 3rd hit. He's going to have to try and find them way back in yet again. As Draco is going to be able to punish that whip DP, and he's going to get this corner carry combo. Is able to put him straight through the wall, and that's some good damage. That game. That's the thing. If you get any sort of combo onto a chip, they are just going to explode into dust. And that is going to be 2-1 in favor of Draco so far. With a good opening to this round here. I was going to say that. They just took their entire, or half their entire health bar in combo damage.
Yeah,
Ooh, stuff on
really,
man grab.
Draco
Really
is
nice.
just... Draco has turned on. I mean, this is completely different from what we've been seeing. Like, this is so much more aggressive from what we've been seeing these past couple of matches here. This, okay, oh my God, he just catches them throwing. Brett just catches them throwing the projectile here again.
Great backdash out of that overhead. Manages to slice on through. And now it is match point here. Zadareth opens up with a good counter hit, 2 counter hits. Brendan hitting buttons, trying to make their way in, but now they're able to get something started. Block on that overhead is going to give them a little bit of priority. They're able to open up with a little bit of damage, but still a lot to play for here. Whip DP is going to get punished yet again. All good corner combo, and that is going to do it. Just manages to catch him hitting buttons. And as you mentioned, they're all here to hit buttons and to get punished, and that is happening quite a bit.
I mean, Draco was
how that matchup is going to go. It's going to be whoever's going to be hitting buttons at an incorrect time. They're going to explode. And unfortunately, it was Brendan that time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Draco was the one that said that they were here to press buttons and get punished, but it looks like it's the other way around, that they're catching the people out who are pressing buttons and punishing them accordingly. I mean, that's kind of what happens. Sometimes that's the avenue you have to look for, against these kind of rush down, very glass cannon-y kind of characters that are going to be running at you. Sometimes, the opponent's just like, I just want to press buttons. And if you say no to that with like some better frame data in just one hit, or even just something that has a much longer reach, sometimes you just get there. And that's what happened right there.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about that matchup in particular. Kai just has like good frame data. It's just all around very solid character. It's got a reasonable range, which, as we were seeing, was kind of outranging a lot of what Chip wants to do. And in order for Chip to actually get started, they have to make a pretty significant commitment in some way, shape, or form. And if it doesn't work out, they're going to be taking counter hit damage. They're going to be hit with the big old combos we saw there in one of those later rounds. Draco able to get one of those really good corner carrying combos that ended up putting him into the wall and just like demolished him and just that entire string. So it is a bit of a commitment whenever you try and go for one of those options with the Chip. And yeah, Draco was ready for it every time.
Yeah, it also seemed like Draco was very practiced as well. Like, they knew a lot of the ways that Brendan was trying to get in. Like, there were a lot of times where double jump into a that spiral downwards aerial attack, or they were using the dash from the that was the overhead. Draco had the answer every time. Okay, I gotta jump over this. I gotta 2H that. I gotta block this. They had the answer every time. Read like a book for sure.
Yeah, but that's not to say that Brendan didn't get his kicks in, because definitely was able to get a lot of those just raw supers, which definitely were kind of wild. That one round that it was just like
2 supers in a row.
Just throw it out again. Just throw out another one.
Sometimes it just works.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I will commend Brendan on, that they have been getting really good at recognizing when people are pressing buttons and able to just slam that down. And
yeah,
it will catch a lot of people off guard, and that's one of the things about a lot of Chip's tools, is that if you're pressing buttons and the Chip is very wary of it and they're able to bank their way in, or they just throw a super, and if you're pressing buttons, you're gonna top it. Simple as that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be really tough to see how folks play up against Draco, because I think Draco is playing real well. Like, and a lot of these matches are coming down to just a bunch of rushdown characters left. And so if Draco can play those matchups like they did in this previous round, that's going to be really interesting.
And now it seems that the next matchup is going to be the biggest doof, Devin, on the Leo, going up against Tick, the Giovanna that we saw previously. So that is going to be, another spicy matchup. Leo versus Giovanna. Both characters play a reasonably similar style in the fact that they want to be doing a lot of mix-ups and cross-ups and try and just poke holes in the defense and then just completely obliterate with the amount of damage output that they can rack up. So
I mean, this is I feel like this is just another repeat of round one. I mean, Giovanna's game is definitely a lot different from Mei. I feel like Mei has a lot more farther away options than Giovanna does. So the two of them are going to be just destroying each other from very close range, and it's going to be interesting to see if one person just wants to play a little bit more defensive. It's just like the other person's playing a rushdown character. I don't need to go to them. They can just they'll come to me. I'm sure of it.
That is one thing that, well, as someone who plays Axel, I play a very different style. That's more of the character, but I have seen that defense can go a long way in this game. If you're able to just essentially weather the storm of a lot of these rushdowns, if you're able to block a lot of the mix-ups and potential cross-ups, you're able to find your opportunities, and at that point, you can just go hell for leather. Especially on a character like Leo, like Giovanna, if you're able to find those little openings in your opponent's offense, especially like both of these characters, they can be relentless, but they do have openings in some of their attack strings where you can try and get a button in, but you have to have a fast enough button, because if you're not fast enough, you're just going to get counter hit and take even more damage. So it has to be very careful in that regard.
Yeah, for sure.
On both sides, to be quite honest.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, we talked about, you know, all those 6Ps that Tick was throwing out against Kiwi in round 1, and how good that frame data is, and how it is exactly what you want exactly when you need it. And if Devin has too many holes, they're definitely going to be punched by that real quick 6P that excuse me, Tick likes using.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a lot of the time because whenever the round starts, I'm always like, all right, so what is going to be the opening gambit? It's like, do you throw out a button? Do you play defensively? Do you just like try and get as far away as possible at the very start of the round? Or do you play it aggressive? Do you move forward? Like, those are always very interesting to see at the start of a round. With these two characters, like, if you had some range, it becomes a little bit more messy. It was like, all right, I have these buttons that have some range to work with. Are they going to contest it? And then you get into the mind game of that. These two don't necessarily have the same level of range, but they do have options that can interact right from the get-go. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. But here we go. Round one, game 1, and right off the bat, Tick is not giving Devin any space right here. And we'll have to see how this is quickly turned around. Real good counter for sure.
Yeah, good cross-up, also getting back into the corner. Now it's just slamming him with those slashes. Heavy amount of damage is trying to make their way back in. Able to get something started, but the burst is going to put stop to that. The guard is going to not get too much of it. He's going to get them punished for it. Down to just one more combo. The RC is going to come through. No burst. Doesn't manage to land the dust. All trading blows.
Yeah.
One more hit, and the chip damage alone was going to be enough for that one. Unless a solid defense was going to come through, the chip damage was going to finish that round off. So we're just both players still just feeling each other out, as trying to make the just figure out how each player is going to be defending and trying to poke holes in that. Is we're seeing Devin do some good defense a lot against a lot of those more bread and butter Giovanna attack strings. Specials coming through, but is going to get opened up a little bit, going to take a bunch of damage in the corner, is going to get hit with the overhead. So he comes through, doesn't manage to get the follow-up, but does get the wall break. Nicely done.
Yeah, that is just so much damage right off the bat. A lot of pressure. At least the wall break is giving a Leo just a little bit of space. Like, he's no longer in the corner. But man, is he on such a deficit this round and has to make up for so much lost time here.
Oh, big old DP just calling out the jump there. He's going to get some nice damage, but Rage just calling out that flip is going to do some nice work. But the RC, just to get them back into the fight as quick as possible, is going to allow Tick to take the first game.
Yeah, I mean, it's real important for these folks to just really try to control the pace of the game. Both these rushdown characters really got to make sure that they're looking for good openings and making sure that they are in control of the pace, because the second they lose control, sometimes it's real hard to get that back.
And we're seeing that right now. Is seeing Tick just have a relentless offense. Is going to carry him all the way to the corner, jumps over. Aggressive option there, as they're going to get forced all the way back in and broken on the wall yet again. Tick just being relentless with this pressure with the Giovannas. They're just going to trade blows, but when you're at such a low health bar, that's not a good thing for Devin on the Leo. They are going to have to try and make some adaptation, or they're just going to get kicked around this stage left and right all day. Try to hit a button there, but is going to just get hit with the counter blow. And now they are starting to get some damage of their own. Does get the cross up, but is going to get all of that damage blocked, and return fire is just relentless. Gets hit again with the overhead, and now the damage is just racking up so close to just another game win here for Tick.
Yeah, it's looking real dire right here. Luckily, Leo's getting a good little bit of combos here to try to get back as best they can, using a bit of that range that Leo has and trying to turn this around as best they can.
Ooh, the counter hit.
Real
be
good counter. And now he's in that backward stance we were talking about. It has real good openings if he's able to do it, but he's real low on HP here. It's going to be real tough. Giovanna, take it real low.
Real close. Oh, the counter hit! Couldn't do it. Keeps himself alive on such low health.
Jeez, I mean that's what some of these games are going to come down to. So it's really going to have to look at how we do this. There's a real good counter.
Now is able to get a little bit of pressure, but the hole in that string is going to allow Giovanna to get some offense off her own racked up. MRC, I think it may have wanted to be a red RC, but they're able to capitalize off that nonetheless and able to keep on applying pressure, and that is an emphatic victory.
I think for a second there, I could be wrong, but it looked like Gio actually stopped her combo in order to keep the wall from breaking so that she could keep Leo in the corner. It was really, really interesting to see that reset combo there.
Alright, now coming into game 3, what adaptation is Devin making? More of those shields. I mean, that has been definitely working out for him, but it's just going to be a matter of time before Tick kind of wisens up to that kind of play, and the DP on deck there for Devin is going to get him some advantage, but again, even blocking the burst, nicely done there. Doesn't get too much of a punish out of it, but able to stop all of that coming out from DP, able to get those on deck. Really nicely done from Devin, and that is one of the tools that is going to be incredibly important for interrupting a lot of those combos. LRC is going to get stopped immediately down to incredibly low health. This is going to be one more good hit required. And again with the counter, just recognizing, even gets command through, and that's going to be the round.
No way.
Recognizing that Tick was pressing a button every time after that overhead swing, throws up the defensive wall and was able to open up that defense. This is the thing with Leo. You have to kind of guess right a bunch of times in a row, but if you're able to get in, able to output a lot of damage, again, just throwing out these very big buttons, able to just throw them, and that is going to be the game going over to Devin. An incredibly dominant way to finish that round.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're tied up 1-1. I mean, this is 2-1. Excuse me, but this has been some pretty commanding performance from Devin so far. I mean, this is match point, and this is looking really, really good so far.
Connection has been lost, unfortunately. Whoop.
Looks like we're having a bit of
we're getting guilty
connection
geared.
issues. Yeah, we're getting guilty geared. But yeah, these last couple matches have been insanely good. This last couple of rounds, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, Tick was running the show for a lot of those earlier games, but Devin's starting to pick up on some of the tendencies. He's able to make their way in and really make that damage count. Just looking at the avatars, just it does say that Devin took that first round. Whether or not this will be.
Yeah, sadly, we did kind of lose our connection there really quickly, so this next round is not exactly going to be streamable. Thank you, Guilty Gear. Really, really, just shout out, honestly.
Great game.
Great game. Great game. Small indie company made this game, by the way. Just a small, just only a couple people.
Some interesting decisions with the lobby system, but by and large, a great game.
Yeah, for sure.
Just watching how these avatars are playing out, it's looking very even at least.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll have to. I mean, once again, these matches are coming down to the wire between these two. It's really, really close most of the time, and sometimes even chip damage is the difference between victory and losing. So
yeah, it does look like Devin took that round. So that would make it 2-2.
Yep.
They played it.
Yeah. It has been played out, so it is 2-2 now.
It is 2-2.
Yeah. Luckily, we did not end the the round on that. So we'll have to see as we're going into this final match here. It's gonna be really, really close for sure.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. Small IRL,
Alright.
small in the Guilty Gear lobby.
Big heart.
All right.
Alright, game 5 between these two. It has been a lot of adaptation between them. Devin has really seemed to pick up on a lot of Tick wants to be playing, but Tick, not to be deterred, is going to some damage for themselves. Ooh, good big.
Devin is really liking this backward stance from Leo in this matchup here, and really has been using it a whole lot, along with a lot of counters here. So Tick has really got to get wise to some of these if they want to be able to take this match. It is match point for both here.
Oh, with the
that's
red
huge.
RC, that's going to be the break. Nice conversion of that. Recognizing that they had enough to get that kill there. That is going to set a match point for Devin. Just to run up through to open up this round from Tick. Really trying to shake things up because they need something to change, because Devin has definitely wisen up to a lot of their approaches. As he's just having a bunch of throws going on right now. It's just going to slash right through them, sending them straight through the wall. And this is just relentless here from Devin.
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to win, and if he really wants to take this match and make it as short as possible, he's definitely doing a good job of it, to be sure. Tick really comes in the back corner here.
An empty burst, unfortunately, and that is going to be the slash is going to go over to Devin and Leo, and they take the reverse sweep there for Devin. Nicely done.
Yeah, holy moly, what a round. Holy moly. Really good job by Devin here to really turn it around so well, and kind of very convincingly as well. Alrighty.
So we're going to be doing winners finals next, which is going to be Devin versus Draco. Because we only had 3 games, so one person was going to get a bye through
Yes.
to the winners final.
Yep.
That was going to be Draco. So they now get to verse Devin and his lion-hearted Leo.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how Draco adapts to this. Once again, Draco has a lot of characters at their disposal here, and it's really going to be important to see how they adapt to how Devin has been playing. And really, Devin has been showing how well he has been adapting to some of these matchups as well. And a lot of the times, whenever I hear him playing, he's just like, "I have learned."
I swear if Draco throws the axle against Devin, he's not gonna have Devin is gonna have war flashback.
Yeah,
We'll see what they bring against him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Kai was really convincing from Draco as well. So we'll have to see what they're looking for here.
They do have options. That is for sure, and all their options are pretty good. Sol, Kai, Ansel, really good characters.
Yep.
We'll just have to wait and see what they feel is the best option to deal with. The Leo.
Who do you think has probably the better matchup against the Leo? What is your opinion?
I might be a little bit biased, but I really just like Axel against Leo. However, it is going to be the Kai, sticking with Kai the whole way through. They have said that Kai is kind of what they want to play, the style that they want to be playing, and as we saw against Brendan, it's working out well for him. He can play very flexibly with Kai. They have the tools to play very aggressive in your face, and also quite defensively. they do get their burst force out pretty quickly as Leo is going to force a lot of damage if you're not ready for it. Again, that command grab right on their wake up is going to net Devin a lot of damage, and even the wall break so soon. They're going to get stopped on the next engage, but look at this damage coming out of Leo, and again, the command grab on wake up is just, it is rough to deal with. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
It
Doesn't really
gets me,
give him a
like,
moment. Really doesn't give him a moment to breathe here. Caldereth here they have been trying to use this projectile game to the best of their ability to keep Devin away, and sometimes that's what you got to do. They're a rushdown character. Don't worry, you don't have to go to them; they'll come to you. So, but you know, Devin is just not giving Caldereth a second to breathe.
Yeah, it does force out the burst yet again, but that's not just, like, you were talking about the projectile game. Leo does have a projectile, but it's not too bad in and of itself. But once we get into his close quarters, we're starting to see that get some combos set up for themselves. Is able to send them through the wall, and they're not out of it just yet. It is going to be a dangerous situation. All it takes is one solid hit from this Leo, and that's going to do it. But there it is, the big old head, the meaty head.
Man, it is really crazy, these matches right now. Like, watching Caldereth just do their best and like still putting up a fighting chance against Devin's Leo here, who is not giving anyone a second to breathe. Really doing a good job of playing to their ranges as best they can. And look at this right here. Really not giving them a second. A really good burst there to break up the combo, but not really able to find anything afterwards. Now we're in that backward stance again. But, you know,
it does get out of it,
caught them pressing buttons, bursted a little too soon. Maybe can get the last bit of damage here.
Oh, nicely done. Good job over that low hit. And they're going to be able to take the round. Nicely done there. Draco is, again, right at the start of the round, the range of that sword is just able to get that initial poke for Zerath on this. Alright, is a nice little kick over the top of that projectile, able to try and get Devin in, but they're finding it a little bit more awkward trying to make their way into the Kai's ranges, trying to get those DPs to stick, but not able to get them just yet. As a good counter confirm there is going to allow to get some good damage out, but there's the DP that has been wanting for so long. As here comes these overheads, and the command grab again on wake up, and the RC is going to get popped. And it's going to try into the wall. Just a little bit more damage is what is going to be needed. It's the good DP response is going to come out from the Kai's. The Dragon Soul is going to get proc. It's going to get sent straight through that wall. And this is a dangerous situation. The Dragon Soul making all of their abilities so much stronger, but the good Purple RC is going to allow just to smack that head right out and even up this round score.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire. A lot of these rounds in this game right here, it's really Caldereth is trying to use that range to the best of their ability here, and even getting off that dragon mode there. You know, like you said. Excuse me. Yeah.
Alright. The good combo damage and the wall break there coming out from Devin is Draco having to play a little bit more defensively. One solid hit, and that's going to be the DP coming out. Good call out on that flip kick. Not able to get it there as it does comes out, but it does get blocked. Nicely done as the burst is going to be utilized. Getting real close.
Yeah.
One solid hit. Even chip damage could do it, but using all of the resources there from Draco doesn't get the full combo from that follow-up attack. Is going to be some missed damage, but here comes. Does put the guard for just a moment. And that overdrive is going to net Devin the win, and they go up 2-0 in this series. But that's not to say Draco hasn't been making a work for it. So close each and every time.
It's just Draco needs to not wait until they have just a sliver of HP left to really try to gain advantage in this match. It looks like, it just feels like every time Draco is getting an advantage, they have just a sliver of HP left, and you really can't just leave it up to chance like that half the time. So really got to get going a little bit earlier, and it looks like that's what's happening, at least right now. You know, really putting on the pressure to Devin here, and really doing a good job of it, taking advantage of the range advantage that Kai has over Leo here. But a real good counter is going to slow up the momentum here and turns it to Devin's favor. Oh my god.
God, just the approach with the RC cancel into just like smacking him with the head, and then with those slash attacks. Incredible follow-up there. With DP is going to whip and going to get pushed just a little bit, forced back into the corner. And now we start to see Draco get some damage. Stick those flip kicks, really starting to apply a lot of pressure, forcing Devin to have that DP on deck. Oh, there it is. Forcing conditioning. That is what we call conditioning.
Yeah.
Throw those flip kicks, expect to throw another one, just bait out that DP, and it gets the punishment off that immediately. Devin is gonna, like, Leo's projectile is pretty damn good in and of itself. It will stop Kai's projectile, but it does take a bit more of a commitment to be utilizing that. And we're seeing it a few times here and there where Devin will be throwing out this projectile, and Devin has been able to punish it, but we'll see how that interaction plays out for the rest of this series. But Draco is going to need this round win. Ooh, good. RC Camper into the 2H, but they are going to end up getting again out of that. What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
What?
Super just gets thrown out, and that is going to be the game going over to Draco. So it's 2-1.
Oh my god.
He's just got hit. Like, I was pretty sure that Draco was high enough health to wait. It wasn't like a kill on that side, but I was like, just making sure. You never know. You never know. Counter hits over there, one hell of a draw. You see it right there. The Leo projectile goes straight through Kai's and kind of makes the projectile game a little bit more awkward. You can't use those aerial projectiles to really mix up a lot of their approach. Again, we're getting to that situation. Does call out the flip kick with DP. Get for it this time. Here comes those slashes, and now we get the mix-up opportunities. Waiting for the command grab. There it is on that wake up with RC, and there is going to be the follow-up. Doesn't get much more, just a little bit more. The wall break is going to be good. Get some more of that tension back.
Yeah, but now you back Draco into a corner, which we've seen these past few rounds here. It's still really dangerous.
Again.
You know, Devin is still proven to be real strong here.
Off the match point here. What does Draco have left in the tank? Try and deal with this layer that is just relentless. Again, that command grab on wake up, it's so obnoxious to deal with. It's getting everyone every single time. And these DPs are starting to come out more freely when they are needed. And it's not getting baited into a lot of these DPs as much as they were before. We are going to get burst thrown out left and right, and a lot of meter is going to get burned on both sides. There we go. We do finally have the jump over the command grab. We're not going to get him for, what, the fourth time? It might be a little bit too late. We're seeing the damage come through. Just a little bit more chip damage would be enough to net Devin the win.
Draco is clearly making him work for it, so we'll have to see.
Big ol' hit is going to do it, and that is going to be the 3-1 victory for Devin. Hell yeah. That was a good match.
Yeah, those are winners final, so that's Devin moving on.
The grand. Now we get to see how the loser bracket is going to play out.
Yeah, so it
The
looks
first
like
one is going to be
Brendan versus Ia here. This is certainly going to be another real interesting matchup. Once again, like, we keep saying this over and over, and I feel like that's just the tale of this particular tournament, but it's just another Rushdown character versus another Rushdown character. I think May has a little bit more HP than Chip does. But
well, everyone has the same HP, but the defense stats are vastly different. Chip dies with a bloody paper cut.
a gentle breeze and he falls over.
Essentially, but however, if Devin is able to get his offense up, it immediately just gets punched in the dome trying to make any kind of option start. But they do have 3-hit combo. The records come through. We'll see the damage output from the chip is nothing to sneeze at. Is going to do a lot. He's going to get the wall split, but because of the traded blows, not able to get in there for the wall break. But the damage is still going to rack up, and is so little left. And that clone is going to come out and just tidy up that first round.
Yeah, it's looking real tough for Ia here. Like, these attacks just come out so quickly. Just a little bit better than Mia's frame data, especially with that anchor. Really, like, the frame data really reflects how heavy that anchor is to just kind of throw around, especially against a ninja who is just swiping around something that might as well be the equivalent of a letter opener.
Pretty much. And one of the things about May is that, yeah, a lot of the time, like, against the vast majority of the cast, she has good numbers to where a lot of her combos will just keep on hitting with that stagger pressure, whereas against Chip, as you mentioned, he's much quicker, he's a ninja, and he can kind of get in between some of that stagger pressure. But we did see able to get that second round, racking up a lot of damage in this round 3, just starving out Brendan on a lot of his approaches this round.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ia is doing such a better job in this particular round as opposed to the first one that we saw. So this is definitely already a huge market improvement over what we saw, and it's already looking real close for Brendan right now. He's already playing super defensive here, trying to find that last opening. He might have found it, but no, only a 4-hit combo. Punch.
Just a punch.
Sometimes that's all that gets it.
The May punch, it definitely has its place, and we're seeing from some of the approaches, some of the options that Brendan has been using, that punch is going to stuff that out more often than not, just because of the properties of the 6P. So really good start there for Ia, able to get that first match, or first game. And we'll see how Brendan adapts to it, trying to mix up some of his, just a bit of a clash at the opening, just hit each other with the same button. We'll see how it's going to impact future rounds, as Brendan is going to start opening up some offense. Good bit of command grab, he's able to get command grab again. Does a decent amount of damage as well, but now it's good burst and allow him to apply it. So keep on applying pressure. Caught them pressing buttons, but just ran straight into that anchor with the super. They are able to finish off that round.
Okay, a real good opening from the May here, knowing that their opponent is looking for that aggressive start, getting that slight dash backwards in order to give themselves a little bit of space. It's hard to say that who really has the kind of like range advantage here. Like normally I'd be like, oh, it's got to be May. Like their weapon is huge, they've got to have it, right? But May is also real short, so it's like, yeah.
Be a good amount of damage, and set themselves up for this round with one more good opening should let them this game win. But yeah, not to be deterred, is just poking and prodding, and is now just that's essentially how that round ended. Is just a few pokes and prods with an anchor, and all of a sudden Chip just goes flying out the window.
Yeah. Tries to open it up tries to open it up with the Totsugeki, but it immediately gets so punished by Chip here. So much damage onto the May already, but once again, I feel like May also has a real good punish game here. We got the overhead Totsugeki. Let's see if we can get the last bit of Chip damage.
Good block. Are they able to get? Just that anchor. That's just a good anchor.
Yeah.
And yeah, like really good start from that in that game from Brendan, but just wasn't able to keep it up. And Ia was able to kind of figure out some of his approaches, and yeah, it can be a bit of a rough matchup if you just get stuck. But we'll see how Brendan approaches this game 3.
Yeah, Totsugeki. Oh my god, the Dolphin just is so much damage.
Good overhead,
Man.
but does end up trading. So not able to get much more out of that. Just big DP just to cut out the jump there. But look at the amount of damage coming through. Chip not really enjoying a lot of that anchor to the dome.
Oh,
Another anchor to the dome.
Yeah,
Pop that one.
sometimes it's just good enough to just kind of whip it out. Sometimes, you know, you just got to swing that thing. You know, the Ia has caught Brendan kept pressing buttons so many times here that, you know, we'll just have to see if it just keeps going half the time. But again,
Yeah, the onus is on Brendan to mix up how he's playing, because right now he's just running into a lot of these just big old anchor swings and dubs coming out from here. He's going to get punished handily. Or unfortunately, that is going to get stuffed out. They just end up trading, which is unfortunate for Brendan, but they are so close to finishing this off. But the damage coming out of May is doing so much. Are they able to finish this off? Flawless guard is not going to be enough if they don't end up blocking the overhead. That is going to give the round over to Brendan. Really need that one, because the match point is still here. But yeah.
Mr. Dolphin.
Yeah, the English VA is still very, very good.
Yeah.
Big plans
It's-
coming out
it's-
from May.
Gosh. It's ooh, oh,
Look
the
at that
Dolphin
counter
charges
game.
from May has been just on point this whole game. It's just been real good. And
Or gets it back into the corner, so able to get some damage started. Doesn't end up going much further with that. On a hit. Be very careful. Does end up landing it, and that is going to be the game. Brandon gets one onto the board.
yeah,
One of
he's on the scoreboard. He's on the scoreboard doing what he does best.
Go be a ninja.
Raw supering into someone pressing buttons.
It is working out for him more than not, I guess.
Yeah.
If we're keeping up with the tally, yeah, it has. Ooh, big one. See how. Ooh, Blade is going to get punished. It comes through. He's even going to force out the burst from here, so. Not too bad. If they're able to get something started, they can really apply a lot of pressure, but in response, Brandon just ends up empty bursting, unfortunately. He's not going to end up catching anything from here, and that anchor is just going to stuff him right in the dome, and that is going to be the round. Again, match point set up for Ia.
Yeah, it's just real tough to try to get in and get a significant amount of damage before May just does one swing and does the entire bit of your combo in just one hit.
Yeah, that is unfortunately the Chip life. You put all this effort into doing this really cool sick combo, and then you get grabbed by a position and you're like,
Yeah.
or punching the dust is going to get the wall break. So it's
Okay.
still in this. See how it plays out. Be very careful with their approach. Is going to get the 3 hits. That is going to be the round. Good overhead.
Is a real great turnaround for sure, and you know we're starting to see Brendan Gongaga just take more control of these fights here. You know, it's gonna be real tough. Oh
Good
man,
anti-air there from here, and already brings down to about 20% of his health. Yeah, caution.
But
Good
I guess
overhead.
when it comes to Chip, the only thing close only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades. So you really got to finish off if you want this kind of onslaught to real stop here, because you know he's got low HP, you know, but he's gonna fight to that last one if it takes. But it's not gonna be enough this time, as May once again, Ia,
Bumps him.
yep,
Bumps him with the big old anchor.
just bumps him right in the noggin.
Yeah. We saw Brendan start to make some adaptations, but it wasn't enough. Air was able to kind of make some of those counter as thanks, rematch. All good. They're just mashing buttons. 2 players that just want to be mashing buttons and imagine the rematch. But yeah, Air definitely catching onto a lot of what Brendan was going to do, and yeah, with Chip, if you're not precise with how you try and get your damage down, you are going to get punished. And once you get punished, you take so much damage. It
Yeah.
punishes more than you get punished more than any other character because it hurts a lot.
Yeah, and it's going to be real tough to see how now Ia, I believe, has to be going up against Draco here, and that's going to be a real tough matchup. Draco has been playing real well, and you know, a lot of these characters have been pretty short range, and Kai has been able to abuse the fact that he is. Okay, excuse me. Tick versus Kiwi is going to be the next match, so we'll have to see that. All right, so we'll have to see how that one works out, but I believe that's a that should be a rematch. Tick versus Kiwi. Yeah,
That is going to be a rematch of the Faust versus Giovanna. We'll see if Kiwi has kind of go back to the drawing board for thought of how to approach this matchup, because they definitely started incredibly strong in that match. Able to take the first game and look very good doing so. But once Tick was able to open up that defense, it was brutal. Let's see if the Faust is going to be able to think of some of the options that Faust has at their disposal to try and keep the Giovanna away, or just keep him at bay, because it's not necessarily you don't have to keep him at full screen or anything like that. It's like just keep him at that nice arm's reach that Faust likes to play and Giovanna doesn't necessarily like. Giovanna likes playing close and personal. Anything beyond that, and she's like, "Hey, what are we doing here?"
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it once again, it's coming down to Faust having to control the pace of the fight. Like with all these ranged characters, getting up close and personal is sometimes really hard for them to deal with. You know, we saw Faust having a decent amount of tools, but you know, a lot of these attacks having slow frame data, you know, up against someone who's a lot shorter range, you know, sometimes you have to use these options that are real bad up close in order to give yourself at least some space in order to work with your better attacks.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one plays out as we are getting into this game.
Yep.
Learning to block, also means kick.
Round one, match one, Kiwi versus Tick, rematch of the century. Let's see if they're able to turn around this time, as we are in New York City, or at least what looks like New York City.
It's close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
We'll see if we end up in the cafe, as Gio is applying a lot of pressure on this corner, but is going to get stuffed out of it. Nicely done here from Kiwi. Starting to get some of this damage to land, as I think the lads ended up coming through for a little bit of extra chip damage there towards the end, but we'll see how that plays out. Good damage, good response there, good counter damage coming up from Kiwi, able to land
Kiwi
that.
really starting to use these kind of jumps here to kind of counter Giovanna here, really trying to throw her off her game as much as he can. Like, Giovanna is good at short range. Oh my god, yeah. It doesn't seem like her aerial is as good as her ground game, so just Faust forcing Giovanna to go into these kind of situations where she's not as good as before, you know, could be very good, but this is a real good combo right here. They got the wall break.
Even with it.
Or not.
With the overdrive,
Whoa.
yeah, the overdrive is going to be used to do the break, because they are going to be sent to the other street. I was kind of hoping we'd go to the cafe, but we can't all be choosers. But eventually, the defenses, or the holes in the defenses, were found, and Tick was able to get that first round. But that was much more hotly contested, as we saw just the back and forth between these two. That's essentially how this matchup goes. Oh, good, big overhead swing there. All the way back out of there. Nice aerial play there coming out of Kiwi. As you mentioned, is going to be able to contest Giovanna much better using aerials rather than playing down on the ground, where essentially Giovanna wants to be playing. Burst is going to get utilized. The lads coming through aren't going to be much of a hindrance. Again, does end up jumping over it, but counter hits on both sides. But if we're just trading damage, this is looking very good for Kiwi to take this round. And a nice little slap is going to give him the round.
A nice little smack, a nice little slap. Get in there with those big old thingies. Get in there for that last bit of damage. Oh man.
Ooh, open up this round with just aggression here coming out of it. Good response. Able to create some distance. Get the Scarecrows up and going. Oh, the
Nice,
Scarecrow into
really-
Scarecrow. Oh, good. So usage. Bounce him around. Little fast can do a little bit of extra damage as well. Now, it's getting started. Trying to pressure. Now it's into a situation where one good combo is going to really set the rest of the pace of this game, because we're at 1-1 in this round score. One good hit is going to do it. Good counter hit. Oh, and it's actually going to be the DP. That wasn't a bit DP. I think it was just a good, nice anti-air kick is going to take that
Yeah.
first game for Tick. But we are seeing some responses coming out from Kiwi. They
Yeah.
are making them kind of second guess their offense and find some holes for themselves to really start to capitalize on.
Yep.
Being sent to the next street.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh,
So
and
we're-
the burst is going to get punished.
Yeah, once again, Tick is doing a real good job here of keeping Kiwi on their toes, and really looking for some sort of in. That bomb is not going to block.
Ooh,
Oh, it hits
by his own,
Faust
yeah.
instead. That's
Ooh,
actually
the
useful.
King Brigade, no, we didn't get to see the wheelchair. I'm so sad.
Oh no!
Unfortunate, but nice block there from Tick to make sure that they didn't end up at the fate of the wheelchair. That's one tool that I think that Kiwi might want to be using a little bit more. Those aerial little packages, just dropping them down, just stalling out some of his aerial momentum, just to make it a little bit more awkward for you to try and advance on him. But we are seeing a very aggressive start here from Kiwi to this round. They need to find something to work, and soon as Mini Faust was going to get a little bit of assistance damage going on there. Good hit.
Yeah, but it
there.
really was opening up. The big thing is that it opened up Kiwi to really start going in with the combos here. But you know, as Tick once again has been learning this for this Faust matchup actually pretty well. Even though they seem behind here, they're getting real wise to a lot of the options that Kiwi is looking for here. There's the punish.
Oh,
There's
good.
the scalpel though. That's gonna be the round. Going over to Kiwi here. It's 1-1 in this round. Have to see it. Oh my God! There's that 6P.
Yeah, just punch, just straight through that scalpel. The meteors do come out, but they've moved beyond the need for that as Faust is on the left side of the screen. But this damage coming out from Geo in the corner is just... It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's just real hard to handle here. Geo just doing a real good job. Once again, keeping Faust on his toes. You don't want to... These are two characters where our analysis is you really don't want them to play their game. Faust wants to stay real far away, throw just random nonsense at you to try to chip you down and then finish you off at a somewhat medium range here. But Geo really wants him to be getting close. And, you know, the second that she's in, it's real hard to get her away.
It seems a much more restraint on the offense here from Tick, but we're starting to see that somewhat patience be a bit of a downfall as well. As a great kind of hit there coming in from Kiwi, and they're able to take a game to even things up. It is one game apiece between these two. We're starting to see some good adaptations coming out of Kiwi. We'll see how Tick is going to respond. Oh, an empty burst. That is not going to be that favorable. Here comes the barrage of items as the bomb is going to get cleaned up right into the face of Kiwi, unfortunately. Ooh, getting in there just before that heavy overhead is going to... The big heavy slash. Wall is broken. We're in the cafe.
Yeah, here we are. The Polar Star Cafe. We're right in the middle of people just probably wanting to finish some homework on their laptops. And here's a girl fighting a scarecrow with a wolf spirit or something. It's like, come on, man. I just work here. As Geo is able to take the round, and they're back at the cafe once again.
Yeah. Really dominant round there coming in from Tick. Able to just get that offense, finding the holes in the defense yet again. Just taking a moment to kind of feel out how Kiwi is wanting to play this, as they have definitely changed up how approaching this matchup. As you're seeing good defense coming out of Kiwi, and that's definitely what is needed for the Faust. You need to be able to weather the storm of all of this pressure coming out from Geo. The risk meter has been stacked all the way to full. Now they're starting to get down for themselves. Good hit. Whirlwind is going to end up getting punished, but the burst is going to get used. Good. Big, heavy slash. We do get the wheelchair.
Oh my god. Oh.
Wow, that killed.
Okay. I mean, if there's any way to end a round, it's with ramming a wheelchair to someone's ankle.
It is one of the best servers of the game, I will say. But also, like, I wasn't expecting it to do that much. May have kind of misremembered how much health Tick did have at the time, but that was a lot. Now we're back to square one with a lot of this between these two. It's just stuffing out this aerial approach using these big old scalpels. It's been working out quite nicely for Kiwi.
Yeah, we
it's very hard for Tick to actually get in. The RC is going to get popped, does force out the burst.
Yeah,
now it's time for Geo to get started.
In a hit though. Oh, messes up like a little bit there, and now okay, it's gonna be Giovanna really looking for the end.
The big swing.
Still can't find it, man. It's now, I believe it's 2-1 now with Faust in the lead.
Correct, I believe.
Yeah.
Kiwi is now on. Is very close to hitting that match point. We have to see how Tick responds. They have been having to do a lot of adaptation because this is not a straightforward matchup. There's some very weird ways and weird angles that Faust can be playing with. Having to adapt to all of those. Does get a good punch in, but the meteors come through to stop any further advance. Well, the cross-up is going to allow Faust to bait out the burst. Does end up using burst for themselves. They're going to be standing in Whirlwind yet again.
Yeah, once again, it's just really tough. These options that Faust have are so odd that when it comes down to it, it's really gonna be a hard time to get in. Ah, man.
That big heavy forward heavy smash has been paying dividends for Kiwi, and now it's up to match point. Now, as I see that, Tick is going to start applying a lot of pressure into the corner.
Yeah,
a lot of damage, but now with the cross up.
Ooh, yeah, and learned and read where the Scarecrow was coming from, getting a decent chunk of damage. Now Faust is about half HP here. Geo really needs to meet this opportunity to, oh my god, there's so many things! There's so many things!
Ball does get knocked down to the ground. Actually, it was the Geo that ended up activating the horn, so they are going to be able to get a little bit of extra pressure from all the lands coming through. Still, it's incredibly close. One good. Oh, actually does end up forcing Faust into the hitbox of their own explosion. Horn is going to come down. It's going to be in their favor. The DP is going to be forcing out the burst. Oh, the explosion into the hit is going to get it, and that is going to be a great finish there for Kiwi. Just
yeah, that's 3-1 finish, and this is a completely different Kiwi from what we saw in the first round. This was a real well played by them for sure. I mean, you know, we saw Geo really punishing, you know, Kiwi's movements over and over again, but this time, you know, they played just so much better by just mixing up a lot of their options by going in. You know, one round looked completely different from the previous, so it was real good job by Kiwi there to really turn it around for sure.
Get wrecked, scrub.
We do have. What is the next game going to be? It is going to be.
Draco versus Kiwi.
Shouldn't there be Ia versus Kiwi? Confirmation, please?
Confirmation. Ia versus Kiwi. Okay. Da.
the winner of that versus Draco, and the winner of that versus Devin.
Okay.
All right. Cool. We have confirmation. It is going to be Ia on the Mac versus
Yep.
Kiwi on the Faust. The winner of
Yeah.
that will versus Draco in the losers final, and the winner of that will then go on to face Devin in the grand final. So May versus Faust. Oh, how does that matchup look? Awkward as all hell.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be awkward. I think this is the first
Honestly, that
person...
is literally all Faust matchups. It's just like, ugh, what do you have to
Yeah.
deal with whatever Faust is thrown around?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of funny because I think Kiwi has only played Tick the whole
Yeah.
tournament. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
so
Tick
now they
moved
get
on
to
and
face
then
someone different.
yeah, and then lost and then had to fight Kiwi in the losers. And now this is the first person who isn't Tick to fight Kiwi.
This is going to be an interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh. So
Huh,
we're getting
well-
Guilty Geared for the second. So
Yeah, we're getting Guilty Geared once again, folks. So give us a
Give us a
second,
moment.
and we'll be right back into it for sure. But give us one moment as we are getting Guilty Geared. Man, but it should be interesting to see. Like, I'm just honestly, I'm glad that there is at least one Faust here, and it's not just every Rushdown character in the game just up against each other.
if I was playing, there wouldn't be a Rushdown character.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess Kai. I feel like Kai is the only
Well,
not
yeah.
like
Rushdown,
Rushdown character here.
like you can also argue that May isn't necessarily Rushdown. It's
Mhm.
her tools can facilitate a Rushdown style,
Right.
but she feels like she can play like a rather defensive style. Like there have been some very good Mays that are much more focused on defense, that have had some pretty good results. Just because her buttons are like really good at punishing. Like if you're pressing a button and you get hit by one of May's moves and you get counter hit, once you get that combo started with those counter hit damage, people blow up. I don't
Yeah,
care if you're
for sure.
Potemkin, you're going to take a lot of damage if you're taking a counter hit combo from a May. So there are some Mays that like you can play it a rather defensive style. I mean, you can play the Rushdown and just jam Dolphins in their face until cows come home.
Yeah.
Or the sea cows come home. Whatever works in this kind of analogy. But yeah, she can be played in a bunch of different ways. But yeah, like
For sure.
some
And
of the other
it's-
characters that we're seeing, like Geo, the Leo, those two definitely much more in the Rushdown style. Geo is like prototypical of Rushdown. You
Oh, yeah.
you need to be like slamming them in the face, slamming them in the wall, just jam them straight through that wall to get through them. But yeah, it's a weird term because it more or less applies to a style less so than a character trait. Yeah, it's interesting to see how this matchup is going to play out, and how Ia is going to try and deal with whatever Faust brings, because
Yeah.
there are some there have been arguments that Faust is arguably on the bottom tier, which I can definitely see. He had some very awkward matchups across
Yeah.
the board, but the thing that's interesting about this game is that you can argue tiers till you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can disrespect any of the characters.
Oh yeah,
A
for
low
sure.
tier
I mean,
will still push your face into a wall if you're not careful.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's to me, tier list is just how harder you have to work in order to know for certain matchups. And Kiwi already right off the bat showing some aggression over Ia here. So, already most of the opening damage is his.
Doing some good damage with the Faust. A good combo damage as well. The big long thrust is going to get some extra damage. It's going to use that little bit of extra time to set up all of these items. Bunch of banana peels, even the trumpet is all too. Bringing in the lads, but is eventually just not going to end up amounting to all that much. Unfortunately, sometimes with Faust, sometimes you just roll nothing on all the items, and you feel pretty sad. Sometimes you do roll really good. You get like a whole bunch of bombs or meteors, but sometimes you roll snake eyes. But that round seemed pretty damn good for Kiwi, able to keep Ia at an arm's length, able to utilize a lot of the longer range and also the items from the Faust.
Yeah.
Not really fall prey to a lot of what Mei wants to do in those close quarters.
Yeah, we saw Mei trying to use a couple of her projectiles to really gain an opening to charge in, but Faust is really not giving her anything to work with here, especially at the range where he's real good. Oh, she got hit 2 times by the 100-ton weight. Oh man, the grab is good too. And throw a hammer and a baby Faust.
The big,
Might not have
the
been
syringe
perfect,
is
but
Sriracha.
definitely was a real clean round by Faust here.
big old syringe of sriracha right over the top. And that is, yeah, as you mentioned, a very clean win there. Kiwi really understanding this matchup quite nicely. Is going to have to find some way to make their way in, because that is the big issue. Is like, once they get in and start doing some damage, they're looking pretty damn good. It's just the opportunities to actually get to that state have been harder to come by because of how elusive this bounce is being. It's a little bit of damage, but they have been dropped so low, so early on as the big hit. Actually, the little Faust is going to be what finishes them off. The overhead swing was what set them up as little Faust comes through for the final little hit at the end there. It's really nicely done there from Kiwi. Utilizing these items incredibly well.
Oh, they're really trying hard here. Oh, the bomb got knocked towards Mei, kind of like the last second here. The lads coming in as well. Mei trying to do her best. Okay, Totsugeki comes in, but not really going to be able to find it this time. Once again, Mr. Dolphin, real good tool for getting in, but it seems like on block doesn't seem the greatest.
Yeah, great entrance. Get right in Mei's face there. A big swing. Just swatted them out of the air.
And that turns it into 2-0 for Faust here.
Yeah, that's one of the tools that Faust definitely does have, which is really good for dealing with a lot of approaches. It can be incredibly slow. Oh, it is incredibly slow in the grand scheme of things. But if you're able to get it to land, it is incredibly punching and can lead to some great setups. Mei's unfortunately into a bit of an empty burst. Doesn't get punched too much for it, but now we're back to a more standard, back to a neutral state where Faust has just been having the run of the shows. That's putting a lot of damage. It's going to slam the run to the floor, and that is going to be a great finish for that round.
Yeah, yeah, Kiwi is just really running away with the show here, and really not giving Ia an intro into any of these, and really capitalizing on a lot of these, I don't want to say bad moves, but moves that Faust can really easily punish, and doing a good job of giving himself the range that he needs as well.
Yeah, we're starting to see him start to get set up, but again, just Kiwi able to get into those awkward ranges for Ia to try and deal with, and that is going to be a 3-0, unfortunately. It was just, it is an awkward matchup, and if you're not familiar with the character and what they can do, it can feel so weird. Feel incredibly disorientating, because we saw multiple times trying to make some approaches using the Dolphins, but more often than not, Kiwi just had that tool to just swat them out of the air, just shove them all the way back, and just reset the entire situation where they could just start setting up a lot of their items again. And at that point, it's just, all right, what kind of weird shenanigans is the Faust bringing this to the table this time? And a lot of the time, Kay was able to navigate a lot of the weird situations just that bit better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, we talked about, you know, as I said, you know, probably corrected as well, that Mei wasn't much of a rushdown character, that she is more closer, I'd say closer to a more balanced type. Maybe I'm wrong and you can correct me here. But you know, it's really hard to not really have that intro in order to get into some of these engagements here, and Faust gets to kind of run away with the show when you can't really pressure him in that short range.
And now we are into the losers final. This is going to be Zadareth, Draco on to Kai, going up against Kiwi on the Faust, who is a pretty damn good run from this losers bracket.
Yeah,
Really
for sure.
starting to feel themselves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kai definitely has a much better projectile game, so even if it comes down to that, I feel like, you know, even though he's at a disadvantage, I'd say, from the Faust, he still has a much better time than a lot of these other characters in that kind of long to medium range.
Yeah, I think Draco definitely has the tools available, but it's one thing to have the tools and another thing to be able to navigate a lot of the hitboxes that Faust is throwing, because Faust is primarily like favored in those mid-range engagements, and we saw that in that first round. Once we saw they were just like trading buttons from longer range. Like we saw much earlier in some of the other matchups where Draco was able to abuse some of the extra range that Kai has over some of their opponents, but against Faust, you are at a range deficit. And we're starting to see that come into effect here as Kiwi applying so much damage, getting these combo setups really nicely done here. I'm starting to see Draco try some various things. It hasn't been working out as much so far. We need to see them really get some of their combos started, but unfortunately Kiwi is just a little bit too good at that keep away game at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Draco has been landing a lot of these projectiles fairly well, but hasn't been able to really capitalize on the openings that they've been getting, you know, as well as they probably want to here. So, you know, we'll have to see as the games get closer to match 3, or game 3 rather, that let's see if Draco is able to turn this around for sure.
Oh, that Faust with a big ol' afro. Nice to see as the lads come through. We see the amount of damage that Faust can output. It's nothing to sneeze at. And Draco just unable to navigate a lot of these weird situations that Faust is putting them in. And Kiwi is just looking incredibly powerful right now. We have to see an adaptation coming out of Draco. But that projectile is good at stopping some of those longer range buttons coming out of the Faust. There's starting to see some more of that projectile play coming out from Draco. See how Kiwi is going to react to that. Because the thing is, like, if you want to play the long range projectile again against the Faust, they get 0 items.
Yeah.
Great combo damage, and they're even going to be able to get the wall break. Look at the damage coming out from this Faust.
Yeah, it's just starting to be just real tough here, because sometimes when you just get punished by these long range kind of things, it's very hard to just kind of go in and capitalize on
buttons on the wall. And that is going to be the next game, going over to Kiwi, just running a tear through this losers bracket.
Yeah, jeez. It's insanely quick, and a lot quicker than I thought a lot of these Faust matches would be going. But, you know, once again, Draco looking for these openings early, but I believe Kiwi has gotten wise to this kind of projectile game that Draco has been trying to do here, hopping over a lot of these fireballs that Kai is throwing out here.
There's that big heavy swing coming out. On the Faust is going to open up a lot of opportunities for themselves. And it's one of those things that has been punishing a lot of those aerial approaches that people have been trying to get closer to the Faust with, and this just hasn't been working out. As comes the Scarecrow, just forcing back into the corner again. Command grab does come out. I have on more than a few occasions. That command grab can be very useful, but it is, you have to be literally standing on it for it to work, unfortunately. But the DP gets punished with a big counter hit as Here comes all the items again. That was a bunch of bombs, and here comes the wheelchair to finish things off.
Oh,
They had a lot of meter. Might as well use all of it.
who needs 4 bombs and a bunch of lads when all you need is a wheelchair? That's going to be the round 1. Going over to Kiwi here as Kiwi continues this territory. Yeah, this is match point right here. This round. Let's see if Draco's able to turn it around. But they are definitely backed into a corner here and really need to try to turn it around as best they can.
They're starting to get some damage set up now. Dust does get blocked. Good blocking here coming out from Kiwi. One thing that we've been noticing from these past few games is that Kiwi's defense has definitely been like it's been doing wonders for them, because they've been able to just like block all of these damage strings coming out from a lot of their opponents, and then return fire once they've found their opportunity. And Kiwi, it was looking pretty rough at the start of this round, but it's really getting to the point where it's incredibly close. One good hit could be the death of them, but Draco able to find that opening and keep themselves alive.
Yeah, but it's still down to the wire. We're not out of the frying pan just yet. You know, this is still, you know, Draco has to play real tight here. They don't want to lose this. Man, those scarecrows really starting to throw it up, but it looks like, ooh, Draco finally had some footing, got a decent combo, but the burst is gonna take them away here, and now it's Faust with the tempo here.
She's on the other foot, and damage is plenty coming in from those walking bows from the Faust. We're back into a more neutral situation as things are getting thrown around.
So much
the
stuff.
big overhead got distracted by the trumpet, and that is going to be the death knell for Draco. Unfortunately, got distracted by a trumpet and got hit with a big, meaty, heavy swing. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
But
real tough
GG's
to
the
not.
Kiwi.
Yeah, for sure. It's real tough to not want to interact with the stuff that Faust puts on the ground, because sometimes you can just throw it back against him. But, you know, in that one moment, you know, Faust was able to get a huge advantage over Draco there and really just clinch out the last win there, try and make it a perfect set for themselves.
Yeah, and now we're into the grand final. It is going to be Devin on his Leo versus Kiwi on their Faust.
Mm-hmm.
Kiwi has been running through everyone in this lower bracket. Will Devin be able to deal with the Faust shenanigans?
I mean, that's the big question, right? It really is coming down to this. I think Devin is pretty well positioned to take it. I think his rushdown game has been very, very good, and the amount of pressure he's been able to put on multiple different types of characters has been good. And I believe that he has played the Faust matchup a decent amount.
Yes, I believe he's versus Nordro a whole bunch. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
I mean-
say yes.
Yeah.
Because-
I mean, I feel like he has. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of
reset.
technical issues here, though, but we are going to be into just a little bit. But I will say to continue the kind of conversation we were having, I think that Devin has had a lot of practice with the Faust matchup. We do have someone in that Discord server that does play a lot of Faust and has been playing Faust pretty much nonstop, I'm fairly certain.
Yes, they have been playing a lot of Faust. And yeah, it's one of those characters that you kind of need to have that matchup knowledge,
Yeah.
because like it's not like there are some characters where you can kind of run into it a little bit blindly, and it's like, all right, I kind of have an idea of what they do and can kind of work a game plan on the fly. Faust, it's a little bit more difficult because they come in at weird ranges, weird angles. We've seen that big the forward heavy slash catch quite a few people off guard because of its delay timing. Because you see the start to a move like that, and it's like, all right, they're stuck in this kind of laggy animation, time to punish, but then the big scalpel comes slamming down, and all of a sudden, oh, I guess I didn't have time to punish.
Yeah, for sure.
And we saw people getting caught out by that time and time again. It was a really great tool there for Kiwi to use. not one to just like throw out randomly because it can get incredibly punished. if it's on block, it's very straightforward to just like, all right, now you're stuck on the ground. Let me just walk up and start slamming away at you. But yeah, it's like it's one of those tools that you have to be aware of. Also, that jumping dust with the syringe, that is a really good tool. It's good because we saw quite a lot of the time Kiwi wanting to favor being aerial, wanting to use a lot of the aerials, and then working a game plan around that. If anyone's trying to be doing some of those anti-air moves, hitting buttons, or doing anything really, that big old syringe is a very meaty hit, and it's going to do some significant damage and leads to a lot of good situations for the Faust if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the other thing to kind of think about here is that Kiwi has had to face one match after another, and you know, some of these went pretty close. You know, we did see like a couple 3-0s, but we did see a lot of rounds where they were just, you know, having a rough go of it. So, you know, Devin has had some time to rest, kind of recuperate from all the matches that he has played, and you know, maybe that's kind of like the mental edge that he has over his opponent here. You know, just
and
having
he's also
that
been
time.
able to watch Kiwi play for the past few series and try and formulate a game plan. It's like, all right, I have an idea of what this Faust wants to do. How am I going to deal with that with Leo? What tools does Leo have to potentially deal with the Faust?
Yeah,
He
and
does have a
especially
projectile of his own. He does have his DP if he's able to get into that range to where it's going to be the most effective. And if Devin on this Leo is able to get into that situation where you start getting those mix-up opportunities with the back turned, start throwing those overheads, and really forcing Kiwi onto the defensive, we could just, like, Leo can just barrel through a Faust. In terms of durability, Faust is kind of middle of the pack, but he is going to take a reasonable amount from a Leo if the combos start coming through. And like, they can be some incredibly meaty hits, and if it starts, if you're pressing buttons and it starts becoming combo counter damage, you're going to be sent through walls incredibly quick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, the Leo game we've been seeing so far has been very, very aggressive, and the matchups where Kiwi has been struggling are these kind of heavy rushdown characters. You know, I keep saying that word and kind of throwing it around, but when it comes to Leo and Giovanna, like, those are the two type of characters that are definitely going to give Faust the hardest time. Really does not want him. They're real short range. They're real fast. They don't want Faust to be super far away, and you know, it's going to be up to Kiwi to really control the pace and the distance between the two characters here if they really want to progress forward. And you know, Devin does have a huge leg up. He's the winners of champion right now. He did progress through the winners bracket, so he does not have to get the bracket reset here. You know, that's just a significant less amount of games that he has to win in order to take the grand finals here.
The bigger challenge right now is just getting into the damn game that we're finding.
Man, you know, and sometimes, you know, Guilty Gear just be Guilty Gear sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just watching these two. Could it be working? I would very much like it to, because I really want to see how this plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see if we're finally able. Our fingers crossed. We're crossing our fingers. Oh. Let's battle? Question mark?
It look. Oh no. This is enthralling gameplay.
Yeah, this is where the real
is
Guilty
gaming.
Gear happens. Yeah, this is gaming.
Cool.
Oh,
Hey, it worked.
hey,
eventually.
we're in. We are in. Leo versus
And-
Faust.
At the exact moment
Yeah.
where we're like, should we try something else?
It's
Like,
been-
nah.
It's been
The moment where you
84
give up hope
years.
is when it works.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
All
see.
right.
Ooh, good.
Right off the bat. Oh my gosh, it looks like Faust is almost the rushdown character in this matchup as he's continuing to just deal so much damage right out of the gate here. Kiwi already given a huge time, a rough time for Devin here. And really keeping him at
big.
base super far away after all that. Gosh.
Wow. That was.
That was
was
round
dominant.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was round one. Oh my god. Yeah, it just looks like Devin just can't use a lot of these same abilities or the same fighting style that he's been using the whole tournament here. Because now Faust is just like, you can stay over
Gets like a
there.
man grab.
Oh,
Big ol' afro, and that's going to be big damage setup that it's going to have to get bursted out of. Wow. Hitboxing that was kind of wild.
yeah, and the
Anyway.
mini Faust might be. Oh, okay, has to jump
Oh.
and dash past the mini Faust here. Comes down with the dive, but it's going to be the backwards splash that's going to be able to take the round and the game here. Game one goes over to Faust in what looks like a complete 180 of what we were talking about, how this matchup would go. It looks like Faust is being the rushdown character in this case.
Yeah, just incredible amount of aggression coming out of Kiwi. Good counter hit. See if they can get something started. The jump out of all of that situation, just not wanting to deal with any of it. Really nice work from Kiwi. And that's one thing that Leo can kind of struggle with at times, is if the character is able to jump out of a lot of their a lot of their damage, they can struggle at trying to keep them under wraps. We see some good jump outs coming out from Kiwi's. The big heavy slash again is going to be what finishes things off.
Kiwi's been using that heavy slash to counter a lot of these aerial approaches that folks have been trying to use against him here, but there's a good grab. Let's see if it starts things off, gets a decent chunk of damage, but the burst is going to bounce back him away here. He's now in that backwards stance. Take a decent chunk of damage and go back to the original one. Once again, oh,
Got hit by the bomb, unfortunately. Slipped on a banana pin. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it feels like just playing against a Faust in general. Sometimes you just slip on a banana peel, and we're seeing this damage just get backed up so quickly. Oh, the RC just a little bit too late, not able to follow up on that one. But just one more good hit is going to do it. Oh, the 2H
Yeah.
was just ended up trading, unfortunately, there for Devin. And that is going to be a quick 2-0 start coming in for Kiwi. And Devin
Yeah,
does have a
now-
lot of time to work with to try and figure out this matchup, but it has
It
been
is
an awkward
real
one.
tough. It's real tough. I mean, you know, we talked about Devin like playing this matchup a whole lot, but you know, it might be that
Not
he's
every
still
Faust
just
plays the
not,
same.
Yeah, not every Faust plays the same, and it might be that he's just like, you know, might have played a whole lot, but maybe doesn't know the matchup as well. You know, we'd have to actually talk about it to know, to get that insight. But you know, now we're
go
seeing him
ahead.
just
Gets
trying to
a
get.
command grab.
Oh yeah, there it is. And let's see if he can get the rest of the combo here. That's a huge chunk of damage. Gets the wall break. So it's going to reset the positions here, but Faust is real low. He's going to have to get a good combo here, but the drop kick. Get him with the toes.
Get him.
Yeah, that's going to
Then
give a
real
real
nice
good
looking
round
kick.
over to Devin here.
The overhead again, gets punished for it.
Yeah, once again, just a whole flurry of blows here. And oh no, slips on the banana peel. Man, it's like fighting a cartoon character half the time. But you know, Devin is still holding his own here. He's real low, but don't count him out just yet. Still plays pretty well, but he might have dashed into the bomb. Oh no, he's taking
Honestly,
incredibly
a better-
low here.
Honestly, a better result than getting hit by the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Situation.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's not going to work out. Does get hit with the syringe over the top. And this is the back of reset point coming in for Kiwi. And
Yeah, it's going to be a real important.
really struggling in this.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
empty burst. It's going to get punished.
Yeah, it's still every single time he tries to jump up and get a different angle. Faust is there, reading right through it and getting in there with the Sriracha syringe. And, you know, this is turning out to be a real hard time for Devin here.
Oh, the
Looks
jump
like
out, the
incredibly
command
low.
grab.
And man, that is a 3-0 bracket reset here.
Yeah, just incredibly powerful. Just understanding essentially all of what Devin was wanting to do with this Leo. Just jumping out a lot of those usual options coming in from the Leo and just applying, like, that syringe is just a great follow-up. And essentially caught Devin pressing buttons each and every time. It was made it very rough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll have to see how this remaining match plays out, but you know, now the bracket has been reset and it is up to another best of 5 for Kiwi in order to take the whole thing. Devin has been playing really well throughout the winners bracket, but hasn't really had to play up against a more difficult matchup than I think it's this one. Kiwi has been playing really, really well, and even in the matchups where he's up against these rushdown characters, is still having a fairly good time and maintaining composure and, you know, not really getting too psyched out and frightening and pressing buttons out of fear, should I say? Because I feel like that's half the time, like when you're facing a rushdown characters, sometimes like out of fear or out of like some sort of like like strange fight or flight response is what I'm thinking of. I'm probably incorrect. But I'm thinking like, oh, hey, like I'm being rushed down by this person. I need to press a button in order to break what they're doing and like give myself an opening. And sometimes that just leaves yourself open for more combos.
Yeah,
Kiwi,
and also, like, what we're seeing from Kiwi is like really good staggered pressure, and that's one thing that is like incredibly powerful in this game, is just staggering your pressure. It's like if you're able to do it well enough, it gets your opponent pressing buttons and gets you those counter hit damage, and yeah, we're seeing just how much damage Kiwi's able to output with this Faust, and a lot of the time it's because they're catching out their opponent pressing buttons, trying to interrupt some of these Faust strings that you can't really, unless you've got like a 3-frame jab that Chip has, you're not going to be able to interrupt a lot of these things.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really, really looking good so far for Kiwi, and you know, it's really going to take Devin finding their footing here and really trying to get in as best they can. As you know, we're trying to set up this lobby here, but once again, Guilty Gear just does not want us to play the game, apparently.
We're trying.
We're trying real hard, I can assure you.
Alright, it looks like we're getting into it.
Oh,
there
yeah,
it is. Alright.
Yeah, we're into it. Leo
Kiwi versus
Whitebag
Devin.
versus Faust. Once again, we're in it. We're in it to win it. And here we go.
See how this next best ends up playing out. Is that syringe definitely been the MVP here for Kiwi in this run of theirs? Good. Little stuffing off that approach there from Devin.
Yeah, he's
We're
gotten
getting
some good
some
openings.
opportunities.
Yeah, he's getting some good openings so far, but once again, Kiwi just on the offensive here, doing a real good job of really pressuring Devin here, forcing him into making some mistakes. But these projectiles also have been real good. That's the third time Devin has gotten a real good
Pulling out
projectile
that heavy
here.
slash with the super. Nicely done. It's going to force it into the corner, but we're starting to see that Kiwi isn't all that perturbed in the corner. Able to get some good options out of it, but so close as one more good hit should be able to do it. Oh, just gets the cross up and able to get the follow damage just a little bit more. Just one more good hit. Big hit from Devin.
Oh, let's go.
The RC
Let's go
giving him
down
just
to
a
the
little bit
wire.
of extra timing there.
Yeah, down to the wire, and Devin is able to pull it out of victory for himself in this first round here, but we still have a whole lot to go. Let's see if he's able to continue this pressure, because he's already been playing a lot better than he did in the previous game here. Here he goes in the
Yeah,
backwards.
there it is.
There's the grab. So much damage and so much better for him in this round than he has before. Here comes all the stuff. Here come the lads after the bomb.
The mini Faust gives him an opportunity to strike a pose. Burst does get utilized. Good block on that big heavy swing.
Yeah.
Alright, there's starting to see blocking of the cross up, but the follow-up damage was still there coming in from
Okay.
As enclosing yellow, RC is going to try and give him some opportunity to make his way back in, do some damage, but the follow-up was dropped there from Kiwi. Yellow RC, and the counter hit is going to go in favor of Faust. Had the right idea, but just able to get there in time. The trade hit didn't work out in his favor, unfortunately. He's able to trade again, but we see that counter hit damage is doing so much work. And here comes the Scarecrows yet again.
Yeah.
And we see Devin making their way in and force them into the corner, see if these big slash combos are going to start to net some good advantages, but we're starting to see, oh, the DP comes out, does get blocked, does get punished for it though. First is going to get forced out. Oh, try to get up in his face and get a grab of some sort.
Oh, poor leaf
Here comes the
clover.
wheelchair.
Oh, it's the wheelchair.
God, what a way to go.
Oh man. And that is going to be 1-0 in this bracket reset here. This is the finals of all finals here. And here we go. Let's go. Okay, we're getting a decent chunk of damage on the Leo here. He's going to come in from the sky. Going to mix it up just a little bit. Already off the bat, Faust is making his way towards what looks like a perfect, but that's going to be the immediate counter by Leo here.
Oh,
It's
the
a
280
good
on that
turnaround.
one. Really good, just to stop the entire situation. The lads were there for Faust. I think actually Devin was in a backwards face stance, able to block that unfortunately. Here comes the big head. DK, big head.
Yeah. Let's see if he's
Oh,
able to turn
actually-
around. He could just
Nope.
get with one command grab, but
Slaps him with the scalp.
yeah, for sure. And we'll have to see. This is getting down to the wire here. There's not a whole lot of rounds left for Devin to really turn this around here. He has been on the back foot, and now let's see if he's able to turn it around. He's definitely doing real well.
Good
That
grab out of
grab
it.
is huge.
Yeah, just completely stopping that sequence of events that Devin has been utilizing quite a lot. Good RC. The burst is going to get utilized. A bit of an empty burst, but does allow them to break free all of that corner combo that Devin was starting to get set up. Oh, good.
Oh,
Gets hit by the wheelchair
no.
again. That should do it.
Oh no, I was going to say that, Devin was doing real good with these projectiles. I was going to say that this is every fighting game person's biggest nightmare, is slow moving projectile. Oh no, it's coming at me so slow. Yeah, this is match point for Kiwi, and this could be the win if he's looking for it, and a pretty clean 6-0 as well in this grand finals here. And Devin has to look to turn around. He's now in this backward stance here, getting a huge chunk of damage here. The footsies is good, but isn't able to get a whole lot off of it. There's the backward swing. He's gonna call in the lads. They're gonna get blocked. Okay, the syringe is good. Really can't find a
doing it from the-
decent yeah. Ooh. The heavy slash is...
Oh! The awkward hitbox trying to counter or trying to punish with super, but ends up throwing themselves into the mid lane.
Yeah, and it looks like this double hit here is gonna be slashing the win for Leo. Here's the lads come in. Lads. Oh man, it's really close now. Like this is it's really anyone's game at this point, really. Like Devin has been playing really well against Kiwi here. We'll have to see how this plays out. He's now in that backward stance. There's the Sriracha Syringe. There's all the stuff. The bomb is right there. He's able to land the slash, though, and able to hit, but the bomb hits both of them, and that's really bad for Devin here. That's a real good counter, taking him incredibly low. The couple of hits is good, but can he find the last bit of damage he needs?
We've been seeing
Not
that.
going to.
We've been seeing people catch on to that quite a bit from Devin, where he does that overhead. Yeah, able to punish that right after, and we're seeing that come out more often than not. There's a good counter hit on the attempted projectile there from Devin, and then now we're into that same situation that was not very fun for Devin, where he's just stuck in his corner at the mercy of this Faust.
Yeah. And
Ooh,
he's
good,
still doing a real good job of trying to keep this as even as he can here, but he can't really land these counters like he could against Draco, because Kiwi's just really not giving him the opportunity to do so here. Tried to find out the Scarecrow before it actually landed. The drop kick is good, but
Oh, the throw is gonna do it. That's gonna do it. And that's gonna... we end with that. It's just incredible play there from Kiwi, just like stuffing Devin at all of those opportunities that, or every opportunity that they try to create for themselves. Anytime they try to get these openings and these corner combo setups, they had the burst on deck and were able to just essentially get back to reset, where they were just... Oh. Alright, cool.
Oh.
We're gonna have Kiwi and we're gonna have a bit of a chat.
Yeah.
Because,
we're
yeah,
gonna
like,
bring
that was really nice.
All right, we have Kiwi here. We have the winner of the grand finals, the Faust with the mouse. We tried. I tried real hard. I tried real hard to make it work. But you know what? Kiwi's here. Kiwi, how you doing? You had a crazy run all the way through the losers bracket, all the way to the grand finals. How you feeling?
Yeah, I definitely intentionally lost the first half. That way we can go through and have an underdog story. That's definitely what I did. But no kidding. Tick on Giovanna really got me outnumbered. I was playing awfully in online earlier, and I knew I had this coming, so I just took an hour break, and apparently it was a good idea. I like playing Funny Man.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed like you started to get into your groove, especially on the defense. Once you hit that loser bracket, and it seemed like you were able to just find much more of the openings that you needed as you went further through the bracket.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of it comes down to just having that frustration from before, just playing a set earlier and having it just go awfully and having that boil up, and then just being able to relax and watch some fun Guilty Gear, or like just do something else for a little bit and then come back to it. You mentioned that there was the fact that Devin did get a break at one point, and that might have made a difference. My break was between winners and losers, and I guess I got warmed up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely did seem like a night and day kind of performance from what we saw in round one to what we saw through the losers bracket, for sure. You know, a lot of folks do end up like getting kind of exhausted after having to climb all the way through the losers bracket, especially in one big go. But, you know, you were able to prove a lot of folks wrong and, you know, really play that Faust real well.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun fact about that overhead swing: if you get hit by it, you're plus. I'm not.
Yeah.
You can hit me after you do that.
The
But you
funny
just have to
thing
get
is
close.
like, yeah, that's the thing is, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't going to be that close to you when you're hitting them with that. But yeah, it did definitely like end up being like incredibly good tool for you, and also the syringe was very, very valuable.
Oh yeah, that is something that a lot of people don't use online when I play against Faust for some reason. They don't use that move that Aerial Dust. It is an incredible move, and it's usually the main move you use to try to ignite that sweet afro.
Yeah. It feels like
it's long range.
A lot of like Faust matchups. They're weird. There's no denying that.
Oh, if you play against a Soul, there's like 2 types of Unga Bunga. If you play against a Foss, there's like 5 different types of Foss they can be, and you have no idea which one it is until you're in the match.
Yeah, and it seemed like some players were starting to catch on to some of your tricks, but you're able to then just adapt and just shift into a different style of Faust, just put on a different paper hat and become a new kind of weird. And
You ever play like Marth in Smash and remember you have a counter? It's kind of like that. Sometimes you just you forget you have something
that I
to
can use.
It's not that I don't know it's there. It's that I have so many options that I have to do, especially with playing the more aerial playstyle I have, because it throws people off. You know, it helps not to be able to see the other character that you're playing.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes down to just remembering that you have all these different variety of moves and trying to do crazy stuff with it. One of my favorite combos was Scarecrow RFC into something else. It's instant grab range if you're at the very edge of the screen, and it's real fun to play around with that. And I was able to apply pressure where people didn't expect it, and it was a good game. We all put good heart into it, like thank the Academy.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good point that you brought up. You were bringing some aggression that I don't think people were expecting, because people see Faust and see the funny man with all the weird gimmicky stuff going on.
They see the shiny bald head when we use the taunt.
Yeah. and yeah, you're bringing a level of aggression. Like it wasn't all the time, but when you did bring that aggression, it definitely seemed to catch people off guard.
Oh yeah, people don't expect him to have combos. When it comes down to the different characters and what you expect, we all know what to expect from a Soul. You know that he's going to do insane damage and outframe data you. Faust doesn't have those tools. He has weird knockups that somehow catch into each other that people don't know about, because a lot of Faust players don't know about them. And that's kind of where it comes down to. I can definitely say that I've gone against a lot of people who have very clearly said that they don't know they don't know things like the syringe, not the syringe, but the scalpel where you go down at an angle when you're in the air, and you slowly go down. When you hit something, you can cancel into something else. And a lot of people don't know that and don't expect things like the mix tornado move to come out and then just do them and apply all sorts of pressure. It is stuff that people don't expect. And I probably would have lost against that chip, because I am bad against people who do really big pressure. It's really hard.
I mean, that is sometimes when you're playing in a tournament situation, or even like or even when you're matched up randomly against folks, sometimes you have to pray that the losing matchup that you're going to be put up against loses, so that you don't have to deal with it. You know, a lot of folks
for the
talk
good
about
matchups
that.
in the bracket. Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
Sometimes when you're playing even like auto battlers, you're like, okay, I can't win against this person who's going this build, but I can win against that person who's doing that build. So as long as I don't play the losing matchup,
let the other people fight.
Yeah.
And then you're in 8th, and it puts you against 1st for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, that does it for us about here. Would you like the floor for a second to say whatever you want, obviously within reason?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, when it comes down to what I do, I am a Faust player, of course, and I have a lot of fun with that, and that's kind of my gig with any sort of fighting game. In Yoshimitsu and Tekken, I'm Arakune and Blaze Blue, or Lychee, because girls are cute. And when it comes down to what my kind of perspective on it is I get to this level because you play against people who are better than you. And I think that if I didn't get those warm-ups in, or not warm-ups, but if I didn't have that first match that was a loss immediately, I would have lost right after against any of those players I went against in the middle of the bracket in winner's side. If I didn't lose against Tick right away, I think I would have lost against someone else, because when it comes down to that, I need to have that change of perspective of changing up what you do. And it's hard to switch out a game plan in a fighting game. You have your PowerPoint presentation you go through. But when you go through and run through it, same again, you're going to realize that there's different ways to play different characters. And I think Faust is one of the best examples of that, with item throwing, having range that goes most of the way across the screen, being able to do what people don't expect, aerial play and close-up pressure. It's something that any character can start to apply to one way or another. If you play Ino, start figuring out how to use more mid-range tools. If you play Leo, figure out that projectile and how you can follow up on it. And not to say that Devin didn't, because he was amazing. It's just that I think a lot of my my success here is people who aren't used to playing against Faust, and especially different styles of Faust. Yeah. And it's just a lot of matchup knowledge. I've played with Faust the entire time, so I know the matchups, and not
Yeah.
a lot of people play Faust. It's a glory of a mid tier.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, unless Sword has anything else that they would like to say before we close out, I think that does it for us here.
That was it for us. Thank you all for joining us for the first Blazing 236 tournament. There will definitely, hopefully, be more. It was a lot of fun. The matches were so fun to watch. I had to push a lot of buttons I didn't expect I had to push, you know?
You're pressing buttons.
Yeah. That's anyway. This is us signing off. Thank you to GLP for joining us. Thank you to Shinkari, and congratulations to Kiwi for winning. This is Sword signing off. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, take care, everyone.